Yeah, so my first experience with college didn't last long. So I was obviously like most kids, like I was super anxious about going to college. Like even though I was still home, like I was still like new team, new school. I went there doing like the D1 shit, like practicing twice a day. Like life sucks, like whatever. I just went down. I was like, I can't do it anymore. So I was just lying to my family. So I would literally drive my car like a few blocks away, say I'm going to practice in school, and I would just sit in my car all day and smoke weed for like 7 hours. And I had so much anxiety about like telling the coach like, hey, like what the fuck do I say? Like I can't do it. And he was kind of just made me feel like someone understood, and like he saw it past, like he knew I was great at lacrosse, but he saw it past that. He was like, I don't care how good you are, like you need to be happy and healthy. Like you're a 19-year-old kid. Like, and that was the first time it was more like about me than it was about me being fast and good at something. So my parents sent me down to a place in Florida. So this would have been my first like long-term rehab. So the place was a minimum of 90 days. I was there for 124 days because I was bad there. When I went to places like that, I was like, wow, like I'm not even close to it. Like I wasn't shooting heroin, I wasn't smoking meth. Like all these excuses for like why I shouldn't be there, right? You could be there for mental health reasons, or you could be there for addiction or like alcoholism. So most people that have an addiction or alcoholism, they almost 99.9% of the time have underlying mental health issues, right? And the drugs are another way of that manifesting. I first got there, and I was the youngest kid there for sure. So it took me a long time to like just let go and kind of accept like I need whatever I've been doing my way clearly isn't fucking working, or I wouldn't be here, right? So eventually I gave in. The way I was using, like just smoking weed, was the same as that other person using a needle. Like it didn't matter what I was using, it was why I was using it, right? So like I felt super sad and super anxious, so I needed to do this to like feel better for an hour of the day, you know? And that was kind of like, it opened my eyes. Shit that I didn't even remember happening from my childhood like came up. Some like trauma, whatever. That was kind of like the turning point of me being like, okay, I didn't even remember this happening. Like what else is there that like, maybe I thought there was no reason why I was so depressed and anxious. Maybe there really are reasons, and I was just like blinded and young, and it was just buried. My brain was just like protecting me from all this pain. Accepting the fact that I feel the way I do, and I can't change anything else besides what I'm gonna do now in the moment and what I'm gonna do next. Like there's nothing to do other than to learn, and like I would do yoga like 4 days a week, started working out again, like just getting sun. Like I would listen to a lot of the meetings where like people telling their stories, and I was like, fuck, like that sounds just like me. Like, and I just related so much, and I think that even though I always knew I wasn't alone, everyone's like, oh, you're not alone. And I was like, cool, but I feel alone, so like fuck you, like it doesn't matter. But hearing people that were like 21, 22, I'm 19 at the time, so kids around my age that are like have been good for a couple years and had super similar stories to me, I was like, fuck, like, this is like super powerful to hear a young guy in college, like clean and sober, who had a similar life to me beforehand. Like I got his number, like I reached out to him. That was the biggest help. It wasn't therapy, but I could talk to him the same way and not feel judged or anything. And it made me feel like, all right, if he could get through all that shit, which was like, that's way worse than me, like I can do it too. Support group, because he introduced me to other people that were super similar to him. Obviously I was like him, so I got along, and it was like a little group of people that were all fucked up in our own way, but all like getting through it together, right? In the end, it was like probably, even to this day, probably the best experience I've had, even if I resented my parents for sending me there, hated everyone around me for a time being, but it was really incredible. I'm detaching myself from that community. I'm going to be a college student, like a normal college student. And South Florida, a lot of cocaine in South Florida. So I don't think I had ever seen it growing up in Rockwell Center. Probably right before I would have started school, people, like, it was around, and I tried it, and that was it. I had only done like pills and all that shit that was like downers, so it was kind of just like I would just go to sleep essentially. This was like I feel so happy, like I've never been so happy. Little did I know that fades away, and then you feel like absolute garbage. And being depressed naturally, add that drop from a high of cocaine to your normal level being even lower, it was just bad. So I needed to keep doing it just to like feel okay.
Right.
Like we went to a couple parties, coke was around again. I was like, I'll do it a couple times, won't be a big deal. So I did it again, got hooked, and it was pretty much just being I had like 2 or 3 weeks before the semester started when I went back to Florida, and all I did was do coke and try to sleep. I didn't really sleep, so I was just doing coke like all day. I was like, I'll fuck around until once school starts, I'll stop. Like, this is my last hurrah. Like, I'm gonna have a great night, go out, get totally fucked up, do all the coke in the world, and then Monday's gonna come and I'm magically just gonna stop doing that. But this was like probably the biggest point in my life, because I was doing coke all day, and then I was having such bad anxiety because like I having like heart palpitations because I was so strung out from doing too much of it like for too long. So I got some Xanax to like calm me down or whatever. So I took that, and then the next thing I know, I woke up in jail. So I don't remember any of that happening, obviously, because the Xanax made me like black out. I had enough drugs in my system to put a horse to sleep. So like, so they put me in like the psych ward of jail, and I'm in like a little bit bigger room with like 4 other dudes that are also naked, which is like they had blankets, and I was like, why didn't I get a blanket? I just got a paper towel. And they probably were just like, fuck this kid, because I was being a psychopath. But I was like, this is just fucked. Like, these people don't need jail. He's not hurting anyone. He's not even stealing. He just like got caught with some drugs on him. Like, he needs help. And this is not helping. Like, it's doing the opposite. It woke me the fuck up, because I was like, I thought I had it figured out the year prior. I was like, I'm doing great. Like, I'm sober. Like, going back to school. Like, everything was starting to fall into place, and then it just blew up in my face like I couldn't even imagine. This was definitely like real rock bottom, and it's worked, because since then I've done well. So like I as much as I hated it, and it sucks that it happened, because it's obviously like no one wants to get fucking arrested. Like it's just so embarrassing, so much shame, but at the same time it's like a blessing in disguise. Like I don't know if I'd be where I'm at today if that didn't happen.
Right.
Like, I ended up getting just like, I got 4 O's pretty much straight out for the last like 2.5, 3 years of school. And in the end, it was like, it was my path, and it was what I needed to do. And it really did work out that way. I mean, would I have done things differently? Yeah. But where I am now, I wouldn't change for the world. So like, I think it helped me grow a lot. I was, like I said, I couldn't be alone now. Like, I'm so good at being just like at peace all the time. I mean, I like my life calm. My life was so crazy for so long that it's like, I'm just so over it. Like, I'm so content. Not doing nothing, but I don't need a lot to feel okay anymore. It's also like just a huge problem in the country. Like, I'm lucky enough where my parents could afford to send me to those places, but there could be, doesn't matter what color you are, if you're from a different socioeconomic status, and you are having the same problems I was having, but your parents don't have the luxury of sending you to those places. And unfortunately, a lot of the government-run, state-run facilities are not good. Like, I think that's just a systematic issue within this country regarding mental health. Like, there just needs to be way more funding to help people that are in similar position as me that just can't afford it, because I was lucky enough and they're not, you know?
Yeah.
I have a year left for my master's. Once I become a licensed therapist and everything, like, definitely something I want to be able to help the underprivileged people that just can't get the help that I was so lucky and fortunate enough to have. Even before I got real therapy, just telling other people, it just helped so much to, like, because you're holding so much in, and it's so hard. Being young, or if you're old, it doesn't matter. You gotta talk to somebody, even if it's not traditional therapy. Like, you gotta get it out. It's gonna eat you alive if you keep it in. And just be patient with yourself, because the change that you want and the way you want to feel, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a month. Like, it takes time to do these things and change your way of thinking, change your behaviors. It's going to take effort from you too. I guess my big thing would be just be open to new things, because it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be hard. But if you genuinely want to get out of feeling that way, like, no one's going to do it for you. And I think I was always like, my therapist isn't helping me, but like, what am I doing? I'm not doing what she says. I'm not practicing these skills. I'm not doing this or that. Like, as much as people can help you, you yourself still have to help yourself. Like, they're just a facilitator of change. You need to also be the change yourself. And I think I took me a long time to accept that no one's going to cure me. I need to work with someone, work with a group of people to get better. I think that just being open, and then just not being too hard on yourself, right? Like, it's so easy to get down on yourself, and whatever, if it's sports, it's drama, it's school, friends. I mean, a million reasons why you could pick on yourself and tell yourself why you don't matter. But everyone matters. You do matter, and you gotta find those people that genuinely. There's always, even if it's just your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, someone genuinely loves the shit out of you and will want to get you out of that place, right? So even if it's just that one first step, take the first step and don't be scared to keep on taking those steps, right? Now, what gets me out of bed is just that fact that I'm working towards that goal of being a licensed therapist and being able to help people, as many as I can. And that's just what I've wanted to do pretty much since I was like 17. Even though I thought of other careers, it was ultimately always what I saw my mom doing it, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be like that. I think that was like the coolest thing ever, to be able to help people day in, day out. And it wouldn't feel like a job. It would just be like, it's a passion of mine. I want to see people happy, and if I can help, great. If I can't, I hope I can help you find someone else that can. So I think that's my biggest motivation, is just seeing more people get to the other side, because I've seen so many friends not make it, and it's just like, it's heartbreaking, and you don't want to see that, you know.